Oh my god, your poor dad.
The whole thing?
Yes.
The whole time?
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Ladies. All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Your Poor Dad. This is episode 2. I am
5. Sorry.
This is episode 2.
Okay.
I'm Paige, the middle sister.
I'm Baily. I'm the youngest.
And I'm Jade. I'm the oldest. I'm probably the most irritating to Baily right now.
That
No,
is
Baily's
for
a
sure.
stress, but it's okay because
It's
I have
okay.
this emotional support animal.
Well, the thing is like this is our second episode. And I think that's like totally fine. We are used to talking to each other, and it's an art. We're going to get better at it. We're going to do this more, and it's going to become a practice. And we're not going to get it right the first time every time. I like how you're covering your feet.
We welcome feedback.
Actually, this time it's fine. Last time my socks didn't match my outfit, and it was like a whole thing. But now, honestly, the blue kind of goes with the green.
I thought you didn't want to give away free feet pics.
Well,
Yeah,
if I
that's
wasn't
who
wearing
behind
socks,
that.
yeah, I'm not wearing socks.
absolutely not.
Yeah. So we are just kind of going through, and I think it's kind of, I like when learning how the sauce is made a little bit. So we are just kind of going through and we want to give updates on our life because the whole point of this podcast is we want it to feel like we're catching up with each other. And we haven't really talked very much in the last day, which is not normal for us. So we're just like kind of catching up, but like, we're like, wait, is this update too insular to our sister group, or is like, are people going to find this interesting? And I think that's going to be like the balance that we find.
So please let us know if
Yeah.
you guys listen, and if there's something you like hearing about, let us know. If there's something you're like, honestly, super boring, let us know. It's going to really be a test and learn for us. So
Yeah.
we're just doing our best.
Yeah. So, quick update from me. I saw Bailey's boyfriend in the HEB.
Ex-boyfriend.
Ex-boyfriend. That is
Whoa.
a Freudian slip
Whoa,
there.
whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So I was at the grocery store here, and I know very few people in town. I just moved to Austin, and he's like one of the only people I know here. And I saw him in the grocery store, and this is an ex that we all love. Some of us have loved.
Loved and lost.
Loved and lost. And it was just like so sweet because it was like two old friends catching up. He's like, I haven't seen you in so long. And I was like, I know, we miss you. We not we isn't Bailey. Okay.
It's hard as a sister,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but we love him.
But we love him, and he always made me laugh a lot. So it was nice to see him. I was just cracking up in the grocery store.
Yeah, you were particularly obsessed with him.
He just made me laugh so much.
Okay, but the funny thing is, he would be like, I don't know why I make her laugh so much, but like, watch this. I could say, hey, Jade, and she's going to start cracking up. And
It would put
sure as
such
shit.
a feather in his cap.
Oh,
Seriously.
for sure. I mean, I'm just giggling just thinking about all his jokes. He just has like my favorite sense of humor. It's so dry. But yeah, that's my update.
Great guy.
And I think we will talk about bachelorette parties later because that is like the ultimate girls conundrum in life is like
my God.
bachelorette parties. But I think we should all give a little bit of a dating update.
Okay. Bailey, you can go first.
Yeah, yours is probably...
I don't have that much to say. I'm still great, still happy, still excited that we're going to be going to Mexico in
Sticks.
2 weeks. Me and Sticks. He was actually in my dream last night.
Ooh.
It was not
I didn't know where
saucy-
that kind of
not a
podcast.
saucy dream. It was just a weird like school dream. He was on the bus. He like picked up all my like
That's
books or
weird. You
something.
guys never went to school
I've
together.
known him for less than a year. I've been out of school for a while, but it was just really nice. He picked up all my books. He was like, Bailey, you forgot this, and brought it onto the bus for me.
Honestly, even in your dreams, he is such a great guy.
Wow.
Thoughtful.
What's it like?
So far, so good.
I'm truly
excited to see about it.
Team Sticks. Let me just say something.
Okay,
Let me just say,
go on.
after our first episode, Bailey was FaceTiming him, and I chimed in and I was like, hey, just letting you know, you're Sticks, and I said great things about you on the podcast. And he said, why do I not believe you? And I was like, I don't know what reason I've ever given for you to not believe me. He's like, what did you say? I'm like, just that you're a great guy. Like,
Yeah.
And he was like, giving me this, like, he's like, I just don't believe you. I'm like, fair for almost anyone else, but he does not know me that well.
Right.
He does not know me, like,
Yeah, but I think that's why he's like, how big
Skeptical.
of an impression could I have made thus far?
Well, also we're like three sisters and like getting together.
And
Guys
wanting to pick.
are going to assume the worst.
It also made me really self-conscious about what I said because I was like, I might have gotten embarrassed and like didn't say anything. I was like,
I
Paige
don't
was
think
really
you said
singing your
anything.
praise. Well, I didn't say anything. I wasn't that outwardly.
Oh,
But
okay.
Paige
Well-
was singing his praises and I was like, yeah, he's
Well,
good.
he doesn't deserve the outwardly praise yet.
Sticks,
True.
you
We'll see
deserve
how
it.
it goes in Mexico.
I do not.
Yeah.
I don't care how nice you are. It's like you need to earn it.
I agree. He's earned it so far. He praises to Sticks.
This
know?
is where
Wishing
Paige
him
and
well.
I completely differ on. Paige is so healthy with dating, and I am
But you were also right every time about,
my past.
no.
Oh.
But like judging like other people's character. Like for example, my ex, who was like great guy, just sadly, but like you loved him instantly. It still is a great guy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
some
I think
other
I'm good at
exes-
like
my ex.
knowing what people. Here's the thing. I'm good at knowing how to manipulate people, and Paige is good at knowing what to do for your own well-being.
Right.
And you know, both are very useful in some situations.
Well, so dating update with me.
Oh yeah.
Dion.
Dion is still there. I actually hung out with him again yesterday, and it was actually a 2-date day. So
Okay, by the way, I don't think we focused enough on the fact that you had 2 dates in one day with the same guy, and like A, you weren't annoyed,
yeah.
and B, like it was not weird that he asked to do that.
Well, I asked for the second date
Okay.
in one day. The
love
second
that.
seeing of each other. The other thing is like it is hard usually after the first time of meeting somebody. I'm like, okay, they're okay. We're getting to know each other. There's these little kinks that I'm like, something to look out for.
Right.
Or, I mean, it's like a hard no. But I haven't had those red or orange flags yet at all. And so he invited me over for brunch yesterday. He cooked a lovely meal. It was eggs, bacon, hash browns, sourdough toast, like
Homemade sourdough?
Oh mommy.
no.
Okay.
No, but that's okay. Like when I walked in, there was a bowl of fruit. He had mimosa stuff. He had grapefruit and orange juice options. Like it was just
So cute.
beautiful. It was
But can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
Why did he not choose to take you out to brunch? Because that's a very interesting idea to bring you to your house. His
well.
house.
So the original thought was that he was going to cook brunch and then we were going to go on a little hike.
Okay.
Now, so he cooked the brunch. The reason we didn't go on the hike is we talked. Very easy to talk to this guy. We talked for way too long, and then I had to leave by
do the
like
thing.
1 to go do a thing for the Bachelorette party.
Okay.
So the intention was he was gonna cook brunch, and then we were gonna go on a little hike.
Right.
But the hike didn't happen. But that's okay. We still had a great time. And then after I was done doing this thing for the Bachelorette party, I was like, I need to take my dogs on a walk. He has a new puppy, needs to get out and go for a walk. So I reached out to him. I was like, hey, do you want to go to Lady Bird Lake, take our dogs for a little walk? And he was like, oh my gosh, I get to see you twice in one day. Absolutely. Yes, you do, sir, because you have earned it.
What a joy.
And
Because
to
I want
earn
to
that
see
from you,
I know.
is I cannot express how hard it is to earn this kind of attention from Paige. Like,
Well, it's a thin line to walk of she
like-
wants them to express the interest, but if you say one GD thing wrong,
Yeah.
then she is
it's
cut.
gonna
It's
brew in her head, and then it's like, yeah, this was fine, but this, and like, as soon as the but is in there, you're dead.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I brought Bailey on our Ladybird walk.
I met
She met him.
I met the dog. The dog is great. He's
cute.
great. The dog is so sweet. But he was also great. It was a really good like first introduction to a family member, I think.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have to. There was no forced talking.
Yeah, and so we already have plans to hang out again tomorrow. I know.
Oh my.
Wait, what are you guys gonna do tomorrow?
I don't know that yet, but he actually invited you and I over to his house. He only knows Bailey so far.
Okay.
But he said, "Oh, do you want to come over to my place to watch the game, the championship game?" And I was like,
Alabama.
Oh.
I don't care.
We love football.
It's college. I don't care.
Look 'em.
And so I was like, honestly, any other time I probably would, but I'm kind of getting ready to go away for the weekend. I need to record this podcast. Like today you do that. I'm going to do this.
Oh my God, you guys are already like, hey,
Compromising.
babe,
Basically.
I'm gonna take my time, you take yours.
Basically. But it was really sweet. He was like, "Oh, do you want to come over to watch the game? Like you can bring Bailey too," which is really sweet because he just met Bailey and it's, he's extending the invite.
Obviously sees family is important to you.
Yep.
What a
So it was just
sweetie.
nice. So even
I
though
can't wait to
we
meet
didn't,
him.
yeah, you'll hopefully love him.
Yeah,
That's the next test.
yeah, we will see.
Anyways, what's up with you?
So this week, I friended this guy on Instagram because my friends are like, oh, he lives in Austin. And so right when I did that, he like accepted maybe like 30 minutes later, and he starts blowing me up in my messages. And here's the thing about me, like I not only attract to this behavior, but like I don't know how to shut it down, and I usually just like end up like entertaining it. And this is the first time I had to be like, this behavior is like actually unacceptable and I'm scared. Like he was blowing me up. He's like, oh my God, where have you been? You're so adorable. And I was like, that's a little weird.
Puppies are adorable.
Yeah. And then he's like,
Barf.
he had heard, because we had like a mutual friend, he had heard that I was like super into food.
I'm sorry, I have to stop you right there. I need to know more about how you feel about the word adorable.
I think it's disgusting.
That's for a child.
Babies are adorable. Puppies are
I don't want someone to adore me.
I know,
But here's the thing,
I
I
want them to adore me. I don't want them to think I'm adorable.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. It's not great.
I think the reason I stopped you is because so that was one of the
flag
first things.
It was like like a light orange flag.
Okay, continue.
And I was like, And then he's like a foodie. He's like, I want to take you out in Austin. And then I'm like, okay, let's do it. And usually when that happens, it's like, okay, like what day, what time? And then you just kind of either have light conversation or you just wait until that date to talk. No, this guy's blowing me up. He's like, I want to get to know you. He's calling me on Instagram audio. He called me 4 times on Instagram audio. And he's like, hey, what's your number? I just want to chat really quickly. And I was like, why? And he goes, no reason. And then he's like, I want to go to Zilker Park and throw touchdown passes with you. And I was like, what? You don't even know me. I am literally the least likely girl to want to do that. Not the least likely, but pretty close the least likely.
What?
And
Also,
so
what kind of girl is he expecting?
Wait, did he actually say, I want to go to Zilker and throw touchdown passes?
yes. So then
I've never even
he
heard that.
calls me like the 5th time, and I had just had it. My patience has run thin, and I was like, all right, that's it. Like, you want to talk? We're going to talk. So I answer the phone.
Mommy.
And I was like, what? He's like, oh my God, you're so funny. And I'm like, okay, this is obviously was never going to work, but this is like for sure not going to work. And he's like, I'm just so interested in you. You're so cute. You're so adorable. And I was like, you don't know me. Like, relax. I was like, honestly, you are overwhelming me right now. He's like, I'm sorry, please. I don't know how to date, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, well, clearly you don't know how to date, but I just need you to not do this. Like, this is the thing to not do. And then he was like, I forget how this got brought up, but he's like, I'm a big boy. I'm 6'2". And of course, I'm an asshole. So I was like, I wouldn't consider 6'2" a big guy. And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, I would consider that very like mid-sized. And he was like, I'm 6'2". I'm 225. I'm really fast. And I was like, so?
Prove it.
Send me a video of you running across the street right now. No, and then he's like, I really want to go. What are you doing tomorrow? I'm like, I'm busy. And he's like, I really want to take you to Zilker. First of all, it had rain in the forecast that whole day. So I'm like, who wants to go to Zilker and get muddy? And he's like, yeah, we'll throw touchdown passes. I was like, what makes you think I can even catch a football?
Or want to try.
Or want to. And then I was like, I'm busy. And he's like, what about Sunday? And I was like, honestly, Sunday is like such a me day. I don't know. And he's like, give me an hour. We'll go to coffee. And I was like, I'll think about it. And he's like, and breakfast tacos. I'm like, you're pushing it. Stop. And I was like, I don't even want to talk to you right now. Like, why do you keep calling me? So needless to say, that got very long-winded, but we cut it out. We cut him out, which normally I would probably let him linger for a little bit.
No.
Well, yeah.
Because here's the thing. Going to Zilker to throw touchdown passes, like, that's something that you do with, like,
Your buddies?
okay, but even think about it this way. So you're dating this person for a little while, right? It's like you're trying to find something to do on the weekends. Like, you've done all of your, like special date things. It's kind of, you're kind of like on the, like, the average, like, day-to-day whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, cool. Hey, you want to go to Zilker and, like, see if you can catch a football? Sure.
yeah, what else do we have to do?
What else do we have to do? That is not a date one. Hey, let's go to
Get
Zilker
to know
and, like,
each other date.
Let's get to know each other by, like, catching some, like, touchdown passes. What?
And it's a very much like, I'm a selfish person and I want to do what I want to do.
Yeah, but it'd be like you wanting to get together and be like, hey, do you want to watch Bravo all day?
That's literally what I compared it to. I was like, oh no, do you want to watch a Housewives marathon? No, exactly.
And you wouldn't ask that because you're sane.
Exactly.
I have no words.
Yeah,
I'm
I
glad
don't either.
Maybe that's...
And it's...
well, no.
Yeah. So we are still on the hunt.
Well, I think you actually should have an assignment for the week of going on a brand new first date.
Wow. Love
Maybe
that.
using that new app.
Oh, Zate.
Love that.
All the
Yeah.
guys on there are not cute. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Oh, you can see them?
They're liking me and I'm not liking them.
Okay, it doesn't have to be Zate, but I do want you to go on a date.
A
Yeah.
date?
Yes.
Not a Zate?
I want you to go on a date.
No,
Meet
I
up with a
will.
gentleman.
I like dating. I think dating in Austin is so much fun. I just I've actually had like the most luck I've ever had here, but I mean there
It's
are
not
pretty,
saying much.
and that's not saying much. But no, I have no problem going on a date. I'm on the apps. I'm like looking at people. I'm just like, there's no one really that I'm dying to.
I think that you talk to them too much beforehand. I think that
don't.
it's like set a time
don't
and a
at
place,
all.
and then
I don't think
I don't talk to them.
I don't think she does. I think that I think I talk to them the most beforehand, but I don't think Jade talks to them too much before.
If somebody asks me on a date, I go. Mm-hmm. I'm not like weird about dating. It's just like, I think it's like getting the ball rolling again. It's like, okay, which one? Because I did have another guy ask me on a date and he asked to go to a dive bar next to UT.
Dive restaurant.
Oh, dive restaurant. And I also think that's I usually don't like to do food on the first date because like I don't want to get trapped in a meal with somebody and be like, I have no out. But he wanted to get like greasy burgers, which I love greasy burgers, but like first date talking with greasy burgers is like not ideal.
and for that place, it's the only thing that there is to offer.
Yeah. And it's like just what he wanted to do.
Exactly. I was going to say it's more of the same vibes of like that one guy wanted to go to Zilker and throw the football so like you can come.
Yeah.
And like he wanted a greasy burger so you can come.
Yeah. It was like I'm just like an addition to his day. And I was like, well, no. Because I don't even want to do that.
Yeah. No,
So-
I agree. It's like you want the date to be special for you and for him.
Yeah.
Like something that's like out of the ordinary a little bit for you and for him. Like you wouldn't normally be going to a bar on a Thursday to get a drink by yourself, but like you'll go to like meet someone for a drink or something.
Yeah, if he's like, do you want to get a drink on Thursday, like after dinner? Because I'm like on a health kick right now. And that's totally fine. It's like, where do you want to go then? Like, then we can kind of I haven't had this problem yet, so I don't anticipate having this problem in the future. It was just so weird. And he's like, hey, don't mind if I have a bunch of shit in my truck. And I was like, all right, no.
Not your guy.
You're not for me.
Just not your guy.
Good luck out there. You're 6'4", so you're probably doing just fine.
We'll wish him well too.
But I'm going for short kings this year. That is like what the energy I'm putting out is short kings. So
Look, we love a short king.
yeah, our dad's a short king.
Dad's
Our
a
poor
short
dad's
king.
a short king.
Yeah, he's a short king.
Our poor dad is the same height as me.
Well, not anymore.
Within
He's shorter.
What do you mean?
You kind of shrunk a little.
Me?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
You kind of peaked at 5'8", and then now you're like 5'7" and some change.
I am just a girl, so I don't round up like guys do. But I've always
Fair.
been 5'7" and change.
Fair.
Dad
Fair.
is 5'8" and a little bit of change. Dad
like
and I are within
pennies.
an inch of each other, and every
Right.
time I wear heels, he says, "What the hell are you wearing those shoes for?" Oh, and then you'll see him like get up on his tiptoes. Oh, I see it. Let's see what kind of shoes you're wearing today.
You know, a funny conversation I had with Dad this week was our mom is in the market for a new car. And I love Hyundais. I've had two Santa Fe's and a Tucson, and Dad really likes their warranty. So, you know, he's encouraging my mom to go look at these Hyundais. Well, he kind of thought that she would only look at the Tucsons. That's what I currently drive. And they're a little bit smaller than a Santa Fe. They're a little bit cheaper, whatever. And so he's like, oh, well, in the past, like whenever mom's driven your car, she really loves it. That's probably what she's going to get. Well, mom went to the dealership by herself and she test drove like 3 different types of cars, the Tucson, the Santa Fe, and this like calligraphy. And mom, of course, like loves the calligraphy, right? And so dad's like, he's like, hey, look, I need you to call your mom this week and tell her how much you love your Tucson, how great it is. The price difference between these cars is like $10,000. Like, just remind her.
You should just go with the Tucson.
Well, but it's just funny because Dad knows him and Mom, and
Yeah.
he, you know, and he's like, just remind her. I know. The funny thing is, he goes, I know you little shit. You're gonna tell her you're gonna tell her that
You would though.
but I haven't.
Oh, that's
But I
good.
haven't.
She'll
But
find out now.
She'll find out now. But that'll probably be after she like chooses the car. But
I just also think it's really funny that you're so involved. You specifically
Yeah.
are
Like-
so involved in them getting a car. Because Paige is like, oh, Dad texted just me, not our group. Because we have a group with
our
the
family.
3 of us and our dad and with our whole family.
Yeah.
And whatever. But Paige was like, oh, Dad just texted just me. And I was like, oh my God, what is it about? Like, is it about me? Is
It was
talking
about
shit?
the Tucson.
It was
Which is
about-
just so funny because like I don't really care. Like
Yeah.
I'm
You're
not
invested.
I'm not a car girl. Like
But he knows his little bulldog is gonna get the job done.
he knows. So I just thought that was like that was such a dad conversation that I
That is
had.
so dad.
It was I love it.
See, this is not your poor dad. It's your poor mom.
Your poor mom.
Exactly.
But really, just get the Tucson.
Just get the freaking Tucson.
Just get the freaking Tucson. They're great cars. I love it.
Yeah. So, should we talk about bachelorette parties now?
Yeah.
Okay, so you are leaving to go to a bachelorette party this week.
Yeah, and so I'm leaving Friday, gonna go to Cancun for a bachelorette party, and I'm so excited because the bride-to-be, she's one of my best friends, and you guys can attest, like she's
She's
so
the best.
fun.
best.
She's got to be a guest on the podcast.
She knows
She's
that she's
dying
going to
for
be.
it.
She's sister vibes.
Sister vibes, like she is just like the best. She's the most friendly. She's the most outgoing. She is just the most amazing person
She
ever.
will say every thought that comes to her mind.
We should have her on after and we could recap the
Yes.
bachelorette.
Ooh,
that would
that'd
be
so
great.
much fun.
But she is also just like the best friend. Like she is the best friend to all of her friends. Like she also works 12 hours a day, and yet she still finds time to like text all of her friends like one-on-one about something that reminded her of them, and she's just super great. So I'm super excited to celebrate her this weekend, and I'm really excited to get to know her sister better. I've met her sister a couple times just briefly, but you can tell, I mean, they just have such a great bond. The part that's like always so iffy for me, I'm sure the other girls are going to be great because they're her friends.
Yeah.
However, you know, in the past with other bachelorette parties, it's like it is a mix.
It's a mixed bag. Jinx.
You just never know what you're gonna get. Like, there's usually like the really fun girls, the girls you vibe with real quick, and then the ones that you're just like, how are you guys friends? You know, how are we friends with the same person? Like, how did we all get here? And so that's what I'm nervously anticipating is like, are we gonna have one of those? And if so, who is it?
Because you guys are going out of the country.
Smell them out real quick, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. I could smell them at the airport. I look at them and I'm like, you're not going to like me.
Yeah, because we're going out of the country. We're going to Cancun. And another piece that's been a little nerve-wracking is we obviously planned this whole bachelorette party when COVID was kind of like on the up and up. Like, things were getting better.
And then Omicron.
And so now it's like, okay, well, we're still going, like, things, all of us are like vaccinated, so it's okay. However, you know, people who are vaccinated still get COVID. Yeah. So like, the only issue is you have to have a negative test to come back to the US.
And so you guys are nervous about that.
And so I mean, that's a little nerve-wracking. Yeah. However, so we did find out, because her sister, like I said, she's amazing. She's been planning this whole thing, like all of the transportation, the resort, whatever. She texted us. She was like, so just letting you guys know, if anyone has a positive test and cannot fly back, the resort will let you stay there for free for if you are not showing like during your quarantine period. So if you don't have symptoms, it's 5 days. If you have symptoms, it's 10 days. So at first, me and Sarah were like, what do we have to do to get a positive COVID test, you know, until we, you know, were a little more adult and like figured out what that means. And they literally like quarantine you in, like, you can't go outside, you can't go to the beach, like you're just
quarantine together?
We might be able to quarantine together. I'm not sure about that, but it's like, but you are quarantined to your room. And it's like, okay, well, if I have to be stuck in my room, I don't want to be stuck in Mexico. Like, I'd rather be back, you know, in my own room. So
that is stressful.
So basically what the deal is like, obviously, if you feel like you have symptoms or you feel like you have COVID, like, don't come on the trip. But if you do, if you feel great, then let's go on the trip and we're all gonna be fine, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm really excited, a little anxious,
well,
but super
I think
excited.
we should also like let's talk about bachelorette parties in general, because I have been on a shit ton of bachelorette parties.
Yeah.
You guys have planned my bachelorette party.
Should we talk about that? The good, the bad, and the ugly with that?
I mean, I think just touching on bachelorette parties in general, like planning a bachelorette party, I don't
wish that on anyone.
Right.
Why is it so hard to get payment from all of the girls? Every bachelorette party.
Well, I think it's because when you're younger, a lot of people don't have the money. And then they also want to know, what am I paying for?
They really want to list out of,
and people are like,
where is this going to?
I had people like, so for one of my best friends' bachelorette party, I didn't plan it, but her friend was like the biggest pain in the ass in the world. And she was like, she just didn't show up for our flight. And then the day before we left, she's like, I want to know exactly what I'm paying for. And we're like, the day before we're going, like, that's when you want to know. And it's just people like that where it's like, why do you have to like make this process like 10 times worse?
Well, there were a couple people at your bachelorette party where it's like, I was very freshly graduated, like very new job, like don't really have a lot of money. And like with the Airbnb, it's like, okay, here's the cost for the Airbnb.
Yeah.
And for like X amount, like however long we're staying there. And it was like, oh, well, I'm only going to be there. Like, let's say we were there for like 4 days or whatever. Like, well, I'm only going to be there for 2.5 days. So can I pay less or like whatever? And I was like, no.
Yeah. Like you're either in or out.
Like, especially with an Airbnb, like it's different if there's things like extra expenses for like maybe a dinner or like something like that you're gonna, but I'm like, I can't do that math to be like, this one person's only gonna be like, let's weigh her, like, no, it's like this is the Airbnb that everyone's able to stay there for those nights. If you have to leave one night early, that's okay. Like, we're happy that you came for as long as you did, but like, you still have to pay for the
gives
Airbnb.
me so much anxiety about mine.
Your best friend was very good at being like, no, this is
Yes.
Yeah.
this
Luckily,
is what we're doing.
you
and
had
we're not.
my friends to help
Minus the suggestion of your best friend
to get the strippers.
that told me to get the strippers. That ended up being
I don't
one
know
of our
what possessed-
biggest fights.
I don't know what possessed her, and I'll call her out by her name, Shayna.
She was so
Oh, I thought it was your own.
No, it was Shayna. Do you not remember she lined up the dollar bills
Oh,
on
I
the
know
table?
she facilitated.
Okay, so
And-
these
which made me
wait,
pumped.
okay, so I am just like not a stripper girl. Like, I like going to strip clubs, but I don't like strippers. I don't like a lot of attention on me. I wanted my bachelorette party to feel very much like it's all of us just having like the girliest trip. I wanted it to be in LA because like I grew up outside of LA. Like, I'm so into like pop culture, and I was like, let's just like indulge like our most inner tourists. So like, I wanted to go to like all the Vanderpump Rules places. I wanted to go to Pump. I wanted to go to Sir. I wanted to go to the Abbey because like I lived by there. I lived at the time, and so I would never go there. So it was just like us being free.
And it was
And
like
that's
a
how it
cute
was
place
most of the time.
with a pool, and like we
Yeah.
had these we made like the pool setup super cute with all
Yeah.
these like, the whole thing was exactly what you wanted except for that
For the
one thing.
Everything was perfect, like except for this. And then the stripper, and I just knew the strippers were coming. And then I was just like, I just wanted to be, I was wearing the shortest white skirt in the world. I was wearing like basically just a bra crop top. I looked so hot because I was like,
You looked so good.
I was
You
the
look so
the
good.
skinniest I'd ever been. And I just was like closing my little legs because he was like wanting to rip my legs open. And I was like, stop. We're good.
Well,
We're good.
I would also like to interject that the stripper website that we talked about, they said, choose your 2 guys and 2 alternates. None of those 4 men
None of
showed
them
up.
came.
We also said that we would like a Taco Bell guy and a cowboy guy to show up.
Jade loves
None
Taco
of them
Bell.
were in those garb.
They came with whatever they wanted to wear.
Yeah.
They
They were
brought
on
their,
drugs.
old man.
Their old man
facilitator.
DJ.
A pimp.
Yeah.
That's what I
And they were like trying, and it was like, okay, read the room. Like, I'm clearly not the bride that's gonna be like down, so just
Here's the
stop.
other
They were
thing.
like dance around. And
Bottom
they-
line is like, as
didn't.
soon as this whole thing started, even though Shayna was like giving me that green light, like, yeah, we got to get these strippers, and like me and Bailey were like, even though it was like us 3 in it together, as soon as this all went down, I was like,
Shit.
I am the one that's getting pinned for this. Like, I am
No,
the,
you
yes.
pinned yourself. Okay. Also, so after the strippers happened, then luckily my friends like Bailey got up there. He like
So did
Yeah,
I.
so did Paige.
We
Instead of
jumped up
having
and we-
Jade being in the chair by herself, like, this is the bride, this is all about her. We're like, no, it's okay.
We want to do it.
I would
wouldn't
love
wanna,
for this.
I wouldn't want to be in that like by myself at all. And I think a normal person would realize that, but this guy did not. So
No.
I just felt very overwhelmed because also I felt overwhelmed that all my friends were paying money, which I think is a real thing that brides feel like. I still cannot talk about like my friends paying money for me, and then now I'm divorced to this day. It like
That was
makes
the
me
best weekend.
I know, but still, it's just like it leaves you with a sense of like, oh my god, like I can't believe they did that for me.
They didn't
And
pay for the strippers.
they paid for the whole weekend. I mean, people
Yeah,
paid
yeah,
money
yeah,
to
yeah.
celebrate me
Right,
all
right,
weekend,
right,
and
right.
and they also took time to celebrate me all weekend. We had to be like, Jade's getting married, Jade and her husband forever, and then now it's just like shit like that. That just like I hate the attention. Like I do like attention, but not in that way. Like not so singled out. And so then I just was so overwhelmed. Like I just cried, which is also not like me because I don't like to share my emotions. So I was just like
Yes, you do.
On her terms.
on my own terms. Like this was like I had no control over my emotions at that point. I was just so overwhelmed.
So then I hopped up and I was like, dance on me.
The reason why Paige and I got into a fight is because I was wasted at the Abbey and I kept pushing her by the male stripper, and she goes, "Stop pushing me." And I was like, "Oh, like you did to me at the strippers last night." And then I think she said something like "fuck you," and then we both cried in the bathroom.
I said something like,
And then I was like,
fuck you, get over it. Like, it was just supposed to be fun, like be
Yeah.
grateful for this weekend.
Yeah.
Then we both cried. And then one of your friends was like,
It was Bethany.
yeah, who's also like
A
a
sister,
sister.
yeah.
She came up to me and she's like literally like laughing, like in like such a good way. She's like, oh, sister fights.
Yeah.
And
She's the
It
best
was
person.
a lot of feelings that didn't need to manifest.
Well, I think
in that
it was
way,
just,
and
like-
she could see past that, and you guys couldn't at that time.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it was just a lot of stress because like planning a party is really stressful. I felt a lot of stress that the party was about me and I wanted everyone to have a good time. We ended up having the best day. We blacked out. We went to Sir. We
Well,
saw all the Vanderpump
I was going to
people.
say, right after that thing happened, when we went to Sir, you saw like Lisa and
Yeah.
like Ken and
Max.
Jiggy. Yeah, like
Yeah.
you,
And Peter.
it ended up being like a better
it
night.
was that was the only snag in the day was like that one little sister fight. And we recovered well.
And really, in the whole weekend.
Yeah.
Great weekend.
I wasn't mad about the strippers at you guys. I was mad at the strippers.
They were bad strippers.
Yeah.
I felt
was
like
just
it was my fault. I was like,
no, I think that was you taking it
That's
on
why
because
your emotions were high, and why Jade being like, I'm gonna embarrass you because you embarrassed me, and then it was like,
yeah, because
Now we're all
I was
done.
not mad that you guys got the strippers. I was mad at the strippers. Oh, I think okay, so the mixed bag of people at the Bachelorette parties. So I think I've probably been to the most Bachelorette parties out of all of us.
yeah.
And the most crazy one was my best friend Lisa's Bachelorette party in Tulum, because there was just so many different people, and for whatever reason, something in the air in Tulum, we were just like all letting our emotions out, and everyone had a fight with somebody that weekend.
Wait, who did you have a fight with?
This girl, because I guess I made a comment like, of course it's
Oh,
like
it wasn't like your fight. Like,
No,
she
I-
was mad at you.
oh yeah, like I don't fight with people, like they fight with me.
That's why I was like, who did he, like,
Yeah.
that's
Who
why
did
I was
you do?
shocked.
Yeah, so I guess I made a comment, like we were making food and I was like, hey, do you want some food? And she was like, no. And I was like, of course you wouldn't. You're such a skinny bitch. Like in my mind,
Also,
I'm giving,
thank you.
in my mind, that's a compliment, but I guess she had an eating disorder.
Okay, so
okay, but that's
different.
obviously you projecting, not actually saying it about
And
her.
that's what I wanted to tell her. I was like, it's not me.
I've just always
It's
wanted to be called a skinny
you.
bitch.
No, it is.
No, it's you. It's not
Oh,
her.
me?
It's you.
Projecting.
Like you would love
like,
if someone
shoot,
was
I
like,
I think she's taking it extremely
no, but it's like
in
the,
the
fact,
wrong way.
But the fact that you, but the reason you say it so like carelessly is because like you would be flattered if someone was like, you skinny bitch.
Yeah, and it
You're
was
like,
a compliment.
"Fuck yeah,
I was in my mind, it was a compliment.
right." But like someone with an eating disorder, like that's not a compliment. You
Yeah.
know, like that's like triggering, right? And so that's why she's upset. And
I
yet,
just think yes, and this is not going to be popular, but I also think like you at some point you have to take accountability for like what your triggers are and you need to deal with it, because like you can't be like, oh, obviously I didn't mean it in a bad way. So then the thing about it though wasn't like she didn't pull me aside and say like, hey, that really bothered me when you said that because of this, and I'd be like, oh, okay, like now I won't make those comments with you. Instead, she talked to other people and people were like, and so-and-so's mad at her and so-and-so, and then she's mad at Jade. And I was like, who's mad at me? I'm like the most fun one here. Like I haven't fought with any of you. And then, so then I had to go and ask her and I was like, did I upset you? And she said yes. And I was like, I'm really sorry. I did not mean to upset you. I thought it was a compliment. And she was like, okay. And I was like,
well,
let's
and
keep
to be
going.
fair, when I was at a bachelorette party, it was actually like a bachelor/bachelorette party. The bride's sister, who didn't really know like the other like the friend group that well, she knew something about me and she said it out loud.
Oh yeah.
And it was something that like I find very embarrassing. And it had nothing to do with what we were talking about. Like we're just talking about like who's a good singer. Like my two friends are like, oh, Paige, who sings better between the two of us, blah blah blah. And then this girl out of nowhere is just like, remember when
something about Paige?
remember when this happened to Paige? And I was just like, we don't go there. And
Yeah.
I went downstairs to collect myself. So, and then when she came down,
You
like,
let her have it.
so unlike that girl where you had to go like approach her, it's like I was immediately like, no, we don't do that. We don't talk about this. Like be a freaking girl's girl. Like, you know,
Yeah.
like,
You
you
threw that
know this
boundary
is
up hard.
embarrassing. And, like, when she came down, she was like, oh, I didn't know this was a secret, because it's like, you know what? It's not always a secret, but, like, in front of all of these guys, it's something that, like,
Well,
And
any
also
normal
the
human.
only reason she said it was because she thought it was funny.
She thought it was
and
funny.
embarrassing, and to poke at you and being like, "Oh, Paige is so cool. She can take this. How about?"
Well, she probably also
figure
was
it
jealous that Paige was getting attention, or she like wanted to like get in on the jokingness and didn't know how.
Is yeah, she wanted to like be involved, but didn't know how. But I was the one that was quick to be like, you crossed my boundary. I don't like that you said this. I don't appreciate this. Like, this is not okay. She apologized, and I was like, okay, like, I accept your apology, thank you. And then she's crying, and I was like, why are you crying? I'm not going to like be hugging you and consoling you for what you did that was hurtful to me.
Yeah.
Like, I am accepting your apology, but I think the biggest difference between your situation and like my situation is like that you had to approach that girl to be like, I didn't even know that like I hurt your feelings,
and you made it known.
I'm sorry, and I made it known. I was like,
Right away.
we don't talk about that.
Yeah.
Like, that is a hard, because like I feel like if someone, especially whether it's a girl or a guy, like whatever, it's like if someone crosses your line, you have to make that known.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Raise
with
that
a
flag.
bunch of girls, especially at
gosh,
bachelorette
yeah.
parties, like that shit happens often.
Tensions arise at bachelorette parties because
Yeah.
you're so right. There's people that are like best friends with the bride that are like, oh my god, no, and it's usually the one that like isn't in like the main group. There's usually like a clump of girls that like the bride has met like after college, that is kind of like her crew that maybe she didn't grow up with or whatever. Like, it's like the solid like bulk of the party. And then there's like the girl that like you know is her best friend that maybe not a lot of other people know, and then she has to come in and like swing her big dick around and be like, I'm her best friend, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
we get it. And then there's like the girls that are just like so difficult and cannot go with the flow, and it's like, where are we eating? Who's getting the snacks? Is anyone getting gluten-free snacks? Is
Yes.
anyone getting dairy-free snacks?
Yes.
Hey, what are you guys going into the grocery? It's like, god damn, can you just like be cool for one weekend? It's like 3 days, just like relax. And those are always the ones that like go off on their own, or they don't go out one night, and it's like, good, stay in.
You know, the easiest bachelorette party, which I feel really bad, my best friend Sam, she was a COVID bride. And so her wedding was postponed so many
Thrice
times.
over.
What?
Thrice over. 'Cause she had
Yeah, like, I mean, it was postponed so many times. And then with her bachelorette party, we were all supposed to go there. She's from New Jersey, so she has a lot of friends from New Jersey, like New York, and then Austin. That's where we live now, obviously. And we couldn't make Nashville happen. Like, it just couldn't happen. So we had to cancel her bachelorette trip, which was super sad because we were all really excited to go. But we wanted to have a special, like, bachelorette night for her, even if it was just in Austin, because
Yeah.
Austin was kind of the first place that was opening up after with COVID, like on the northeast coast or whatever. Like, that was super closed still. So even though it was just a few, like a fraction of the people, we like went on a boat the day before with like the guys and the girls, and then after the boat it was like, all right, girls, we're going out, and we did like a traditional like touristy 6th Street like
Wearing wigs,
bachelorette
wearing
party,
hats.
which is like what you would, I mean, as like a local, it's like, there's another bachelorette party.
Yeah.
But it was like almost fun because it's like, this is what we have right now. Like,
Yeah.
we can't go do something different. So like, we're going to make it as basic as possible. And like,
Yeah.
we had the wigs. We went to like the cute restaurant. We went to Dirty.
We
Like,
brought our own penis straws to put into our cocktails and stuff.
Sometimes it's nice to lean into the basic thing.
and it was I have never seen her like let loose the way that she did that night.
Gosh, she was
Going from like
aggressively happy.
west to dirty to rainy, and it was such a success. I'm like, that was the easiest like carefree
That's great.
bachelorette party. Like, I wish they could all be like so carefree and easy.
I have another bachelorette party on my horizon that I have to plan that I am not looking forward to.
It's stressful.
It is really stressful. I had to plan my best friend, another one of my best friend's bachelorette parties while I was getting married. It was like her bachelorette party was like I think 2 or 3 weeks before I got married, and that was kind of stressful because I was like, I'm just like a people pleaser, so I'm like, what do we do in Miami? And everyone's like, we're gonna do this, and I'm like, okay,
Great, sounds good.
great. Also, should I get you a stripper?
Do you want the stripper?
But yeah,
Well, it's also funny. So the bachelorette party that's coming up, one of the girls just found out that she's pregnant. So she's still coming, but obviously she's not going to be like drinking like we all are.
That's a blessing.
Yeah. But Sarah was like, oh my gosh, like now we're going to have like one sober person. Like,
That's the greatest thing.
okay, it's great, but she's like, I don't need anyone telling
Oh my God,
sober
no.
Sarah what drunk Sarah did.
no.
You know?
Or when people are like, oh my God, you were really drunk
You
last
need
night.
you need to be on the level of getting sober
Wait.
or wasted, which is my favorite of you're not drinking, but you're in the
Which-
mindset of all the other drunk people and you're
Right.
like, I'm gonna be dumb too and I'm gonna do whatever, but like
No, which I think that she will, but it was just like such a funny like conversation that like me and Sarah had. She's like, now this means that not everyone's gonna be wasted. Now this means that somebody's gonna be sober, and I do
Yeah.
not need to know what I did the night
Yeah,
before.
we need to set ground rules here.
Yeah, and like that, like the girl's cool. Like she's
Yeah.
she's cool, so it's fine. But it was just like such a funny and such a real thing because sometimes there are those girls who are like sober and they're like, "Ah, well, Jade, do you know what you did last night? Do you know?
I
So
can't stand
embarrassing.
those.
And it's like,
people.
honestly, if I don't remember, that
That's-
is
a blessing.
a blessing and a
What
sign
is
that
that
I'm not
saying?
supposed to remember.
God's rejection is his protection. Like his
That sounds
rejection
great.
of my memory is my protection.
Yeah, it's like as long as we're safe and we're being like responsible, I don't need to know anything stupid that I do. And
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to our second episode. Please let us know if you got this far, first of all.
God bless you.
Please either let us know in our Instagram comments or rate us on Apple.
please subscribe.
Subscribe. Let us know what we need to work on. You are our bosses. We
Let
work
us
for
know-
you.
Let us know who your favorite sister is. Jade, Bailey, Paige, or Hank.
Yeah. Or
Yep.
Hank. Who's the Hank?
All right. Thanks,
All right,
guys.
Bye.